The movie begins in the future. The year is 2154, which is about 100 years from the present day. Here we see a space station orbiting near Earth. At this time, the space station is also known as the second Earth. That's because there is a massive city inside the station. The city's name is Elysium. Just like on Earth, people in this city live very comfortable lives. However, only wealthy people are allowed to live in Elysium. The truth is, Earth's population had grown so much that the planet was pushed into a severe crisis. There were extreme shortages of food and clean water. Even the peaceful conditions across the world completely fell apart. Gradually, every part of Earth became heavily polluted. As a result, all kinds of diseases began spreading across the planet. Earth eventually became nothing more than a giant pile of trash. That's why all the wealthy people came together and built the city of Elysium for themselves. And now, only rich people are allowed to enter Elysium. Anyone with enough money can live there. Meanwhile, the poor people are still struggling to survive on the polluted Earth. People are dying every day from hunger and hardship. But on the other hand, the people living in Elysium have everything they could ever need. That's because Elysium is an extremely advanced city. People can get whatever they want whenever they want it. The homes, roads, and shopping malls there are all incredibly luxurious. And most of the city's operations are handled by robots. What is even more surprising is how advanced the science and technology in Elysium are. The people living there never suffer from any diseases. They don't even age. No matter what age they were when they arrived in Elysium, they remain the same age even many years later. In other words, time passes, but they never grow old. On top of that, if someone wants to look younger than their actual age, the technology there can make that possible. And if any part of a person's body is severely damaged because of an injury, it can be repaired. They can even regrow arms and legs through advanced genetic technology. The people of Elysium can travel to Earth whenever they want, but the people of Earth can never go to Elysium, even if they want to. That's because people from Earth are forbidden from entering Elysium. The truth is, the people of Elysium see the people of Earth as nothing but trash. After that, we see a young boy living on Earth. This boy's name is Max. Max has a friend named Frey. The two of them are very close friends. They would often come to a certain spot in the city, look up at the sky, and talk about Elysium. One day, Max makes a promise to Frey. He tells her that someday he will take her to that city. He promises that he will show her Elysium. And this is one of the biggest dreams of his life. But both Max and Frey come from very poor family. Their financial situation is terrible. That's why Max started stealing from a very young age. He would save all the money he stole, because he believed that one day, when he had enough money, he would take Frey to Elysium. To travel to Elysium, a person has to buy a ticket that costs a huge amount of money, and Max steals so he can save up for that ticket. Next, we get a look at the condition of Earth. Every place looks like a complete wasteland. At this time, there is no law and order left on Earth. There are no national borders anymore. People can go wherever they want. In fact, no country has a government or any real law enforcement anymore. Instead, a special type of robot now controls everything on Earth. These robots were created by the owner of the company that built Elysium, and his name is John. The purpose of these robots was to make sure that, besides controlling Elysium, they could also maintain control over Earth. As time passes, many years go by. In the present day, we see Max again. Max is now fully grown, and over time, he has started pulling off bigger and bigger thefts. These days, he mainly steals cars. Last year, he got caught while trying to steal a car. Because of that, he had to spend a long time in prison. Along with stealing, Max also works for a small company. And today is his first day back at work after getting out of prison. So he heads to work with his co-workers. The company where Max works is also owned by John, the creator of Elysium. And this is how people have been living their lives for many years. One day, Max is standing in line waiting for a bus to go to work. Just then, two robot soldiers arrive. They pull Max out of the line and tell him they want to inspect his bag right away. They want to see what's inside it. But Max laughs and says to them, "What could possibly be in my bag? Oil, shampoo, and a comb." The funny thing is, Max doesn't even have any hair. He is just joking around with the soldiers. But the soldiers become extremely angry. They throw Max to the ground, and as punishment, they strike his arm with tremendous force. As a result, his arm gets fractured. Part of the bone in his arm is broken. After that, the soldiers search Max's bag, but they don't find anything suspicious inside. Even so, the soldiers tell Max that he spoke to them in an inappropriate manner. According to them, he has violated a law, so if he wants to avoid going to jail, he must report to the police station. Max immediately heads to the police station. Here, we see that the police officers are not human either. They are robots as well. Max tells one of the officers that he didn't realize his words would be considered a violation, so he asks to be cleared of the case. But the police officer informs him that a report has already been filed against him. Because of that, he can be released on bond. However, he must report back there regularly for the next 8 months. This makes Max extremely frustrated. His life is already full of problems, and he has no desire to deal with the hassle of reporting in over such a minor issue. So Max keeps trying to explain the situation to the officer, but the officer directly tells him that he has only 2 choices. Either he spends 3 months in prison, or he reports in regularly for 8 months. There are no other options. Max finds himself in a serious predicament. He has no choice but to accept the decision. Feeling disappointed, he leaves the police station. After that, he heads straight to work. Later, at the factory, he closes the door to one of the rooms, but something gets stuck in the middle of the door. As a result, an alarm starts going off. Even then, Max refuses to go inside that room, because he knows very well that the room contains extremely high levels of radiation, and exposure to it could kill him. So despite the alarm continuing to sound, he refuses to go inside no matter what. But after hearing the alarm, his supervisor comes over. He tells Max to go inside and fix the engine, because the problem was being caused by a malfunction in the engine. The truth is, before the factory's daily operations begin, the engines inside that room are turned on, and once the door is completely sealed, no radiation can escape from the room. However, for some reason, the door isn't closing properly today. But when Max refuses to go inside because of the radiation, his supervisor tells him that if he wants to keep his job, he has to do it. Otherwise, he will be fired from the factory today. So Max is forced to enter the room. Once inside, he sees that the door is jammed by a piece of metal. Max carefully removes the metal, and as soon as he does, the door shuts completely. Then the door automatically locks. As a result, Max becomes trapped inside the room. At that very moment, the engines are activated, and the room immediately fills with radiation. Terrified, Max starts screaming for help. Hearing his screams, his co-workers rush over. After struggling for quite some time, they finally manage to get him out. But by then, Max is already in very bad condition. He has become seriously ill, so a robot is brought in to examine him. The robot scans his entire body. After the scan, it informs Max that 90% of his body has been exposed to radiation. The radiation has spread throughout his body at a critical level. As a result, he only has 5 days left to live. According to the robot, he will die within those 5 days. Hearing this, Max becomes extremely worried. He is then placed in a separate room to rest. Later, John arrives at the factory for an inspection. Max's supervisor informs John about what happened. He explains how badly Max has been affected by the radiation. Then he asks John to do something to help him. He suggests taking Max to Elysium for advanced medical treatment. But the truth is, John doesn't care about the poor people on Earth at all. Whether they live or die means nothing to him. In fact, he could completely cure Max if he wanted to, because Elysium has highly advanced medical technology and machines. But instead, John simply says that when Max dies, they should bury him in the ground. Then he leaves. He is a very selfish and heartless man. Meanwhile, the doctor robot comes over and gives Max some medication. It tells him to take the medicine every day during the 5 days he has left to live. If he does, he will remain completely healthy until the moment he dies. His condition will not get any worse. After that, Max takes the medicine and somehow manages to head home. But when he gets close to his house, he becomes weak and collapses on the street. At that moment, one of his friends sees him and runs over. His friend's name is Eric. Eric quickly takes Max inside the house. Then he asks what happened to him. Max explains that his condition was caused by radiation exposure. He tells Eric that he got trapped inside a radiation chamber. And afterward, the Dr. Robot informed him that the radiation had spread throughout his entire body. Because of that, he only has 5 days left to live. Then, Max shows Eric the medicine. He says, "See this medicine? They give it to people so they can stay healthy before they die. And they gave it to me too. I guess I'm really not going to make it. The dream I've had since childhood, the dream of going to Elysium, may never come true." Eric then asks if there's any treatment for his condition. Max tells him that the only treatment is in Elysium. "If I can somehow make it to Elysium, I might be able to survive." After that, Max asks Eric to take him to a man named Spider. Eric immediately takes him to Spider's office. Spider runs an agency, and he already knows Max. In fact, Max worked under Spider for many years. Most of the cars Max stole were actually for Spider, and eventually it was because of one of those jobs that Max got caught by the police. After getting out of prison, Max quit working for him. That's why Spider doesn't like Max very much anymore. The truth is, Spider is involved in all kinds of illegal activities behind the scenes. He owns several flying jets, and in exchange for money, he secretly transports sick people from Earth to Elysium. To enter Elysium, a person needs a special ID that is implanted into their arm. Spider can arrange that illegally as well. He can create fake identities for people who want to go to Elysium. That way, once they arrive there, they can gain entry into the city. As long as they can show a valid ID, they are allowed to enter Elysium. But the most dangerous part is that most of the flying jets that travel from Earth to Elysium are attacked and destroyed before they can reach their destination. In other words, most people die before they ever make it to Elysium. However, even if a flying jet somehow manages to get there and is spotted by Elysium's soldiers, everyone on board is arrested and sent back to Earth. But even after knowing all these risks, people still try to reach Elysium as a last hope. So Max desperately begs Spider for help. He explains that he is dying because of radiation exposure, and somehow he must reach Elysium within the next 5 days. He asks Spider to arrange it for him. After learning that Max is dying, Spider decides to take advantage of the situation. He tells Max, "I will definitely send you to Elysium, but in return, you have to do one last job for me. If you agree to do it, then I'll send you to Elysium." At this point, Max doesn't have many options left, so he agrees to Spider's proposal. He then asks what the job actually is. Spider shows him a device and says that people from Elysium come to Earth every day. They need to kidnap one of them. After that, they will use this device to transfer all the data stored in that person's brain. And once the transferred data is decoded, they will gain access to Elysium's backup codes, login codes, passwords, and all kinds of system data. If they can successfully complete this mission, they could become millionaires in a very short time. Because with access to all that information, they would be able to send people to Elysium very easily. They could even go there themselves. And Max would be able to enter any house in Elysium and receive treatment. The truth is, every home in Elysium is equipped with advanced medical devices capable of providing any kind of treatment. So if they can obtain Elysium's data, Max could simply break into an empty house and use one of those medical devices to heal himself, and that would be the easiest way for him to get treatment. Max agrees to Spider's plan, but he tells Spider that they shouldn't kidnap just any citizen from Elysium. Instead, they should kidnap the owner of Elysium. After all, Max ended up in this condition while working for his company, and even after seeing how terrible his condition was, the man did nothing to help him. Instead, he looked down on him and walked away. By this point, the radiation has made Max extremely weak. While talking, he suddenly loses consciousness and collapses. Spider realizes that Max can't be sent on the mission in this condition, so he decides to equip him with a special suit called an exoskeleton. The exoskeleton is an incredibly powerful suit, and it will give Max extra strength. A few hours later, when Max regains consciousness, he is shocked to see the suit attached to his body. Now he can't remove it even if he wants to, because the suit has been permanently attached to him. The exoskeleton will make him nearly 100 times stronger than a normal person, and whenever he finds himself in danger, he will be able to fight using its enhanced power. That's why this suit will be one of the most important tools for their mission. After that, they begin working on their mission. They gather all their equipment and supplies. Then they head out in their vehicle toward their destination. Meanwhile, we get another look at the city of Elysium. A meeting is taking place among some of its top officials. One of the people attending the meeting is a man named Patel. Patel is the president of Elysium. He is responsible for overseeing everything in the city. The president and several of his colleagues have called Elysium's defense secretary to the meeting. Her name is Jessica. They tell Jessica that the previous day, 3 flying jets had attempted to travel from Earth to Elysium, and out of those 3 jets, she had ordered the destruction of 2 of them. As a result, 46 people lost their lives. Among them were elderly people and young children. They tell her that if those people had made it to Elysium, they could have simply been sent back to Earth. That way, so many lives would not have been lost. They accuse her of violating human rights. They remind her that her responsibility is to warn people. If anyone arrives there illegally, she is supposed to caution them and send them back. Instead, she chose to kill them, and that was never part of her duty. The truth is, the 3 aircraft that headed toward Elysium the day before had been sent illegally by Spider, and every passenger on board was seriously ill. Each of them was suffering from a different medical condition. They all wanted to come to Elysium to receive treatment and get better. That's why they were willing to risk their lives and board Spider's flying jets. However, there are special detection systems surrounding Elysium. Whenever a plane, jet, rocket, or any type of vehicle enters that area, a signal is immediately sent to the authorities. So when Jessica received the signal from those 3 flying jets, she immediately contacted her agent. His name is Kruger, and it was Kruger who destroyed the aircraft under Jessica's orders. But the most surprising thing is that Kruger is not actually from Elysium. He is an ordinary man from Earth. Secretly, he works together with Jessica. Following her orders, he destroys various flying jets coming from Earth. However, one of Spider's flying jets managed to survive, and that jet successfully made its way to Elysium and landed there. But Jessica was already keeping an eye on all of this, so she sends her robot soldiers to capture everyone who arrived on that flying jet. The robots begin arresting them one by one. However, among all of them, one woman manages to slip away with her daughter and make it into Elysium. No one notices them. The woman's daughter is actually very sick, so she quickly takes her into an empty house where no one is home. Then, she lays her daughter on a special medical device. The device is called MedBay. Because the woman has a fake identity, the machine scans her ID and begins working. Within just a few seconds, the monitor shows something incredible. Every illness, injury, and medical condition in the little girl's body is completely healed. The girl's mother is overwhelmed with happiness. Her daughter had serious problems with both of her legs, but the device has completely fixed them. The mother and daughter are overjoyed. Unfortunately, their happiness doesn't last very long, because at that very moment, robot soldiers arrive at the house. They immediately arrest both the mother and daughter. The 2 of them cry and beg to be released, but the robots refuse to listen. Meanwhile, among the people who were captured by the soldiers, some are executed, and the rest are sent back to Earth. The reason some of them are killed is to send a message. The survivors can return to Earth and warn others. That way, people will know that even if they manage to reach Elysium, it won't do them any good. Later, when Jessica is confronted about all of this, she tells everyone that she did the right thing, because protecting Elysium is their responsibility. If they don't take action against these people now, then one day Elysium will become just like Earth. The city will become overcrowded, and eventually, it will be destroyed as well, something she never wants to happen. At that point, Patel asks Jessica about Kruger, the man she used to destroy those flying jets. The truth is, Kruger is a criminal. He has a long criminal record on Earth. There are numerous charges against him, including robbery, theft, violent crimes, and even multiple murders. Because of that, Patel tells Jessica that working with a criminal from Earth is a very serious offense. He reminds her how dangerous and unacceptable that decision is. Then he orders her to immediately cancel all agreements with Kruger, and he tells her that Kruger must be removed from his position at once. But Jessica has no intention of listening to the president. She continues defending her actions and presenting her own arguments. The truth is, she doesn't care about the people of Earth at all. She is willing to do whatever it takes to protect Elysium. She doesn't even hesitate when it comes to killing people. This time, the president becomes furious after hearing her response. He tells her that if she doesn't remove Kruger from her team and cut all ties with him, he will personally take action against her. Jessica will be removed from her position as well. At that point, Jessica has no choice. She knows she must obey the president's orders. So, reluctantly, she cuts off all communication with Kruger. However, she is extremely angry with the president because she doesn't want a single person from Earth entering Elysium. And if she can no longer destroy those flying jets, then sooner or later people will find a way to get in. That same day, Jessica calls John. The truth is, John is the man who originally built Elysium, but he isn't responsible for running it. His role is to create advanced technological devices for both Earth and Elysium. He earns enormous amounts of money by selling his company's products. Although his business was very successful at one point, things aren't going so well anymore. And right now, he desperately needs money. Jessica knows this very well, so she decides to take advantage of the situation. She tells John, "I need to discuss something important with you. You need money, don't you? I can give you as much money as you need, but in return, I need you to do a small job for me. Can you use your company's technology to replace all of Elysium's servers with new ones? And through that process, can you put a new president in power?" John replies, "Of course. That's not difficult for me at all. I can create a completely new reboot sequence. I can even shut down all of Elysium's current servers. And once I do that, the old servers will have to be replaced. Afterward, all the passwords, access permissions, and administrative controls for the new servers can be handed over to a new president. And since the old president will no longer have any access to the system, there won't be anything he can do to stop it." "But who exactly do you want to make president?" Jessica then replies, "I want to become the president myself. Because if I don't take control of Elysium right now, then within a few years, Elysium will turn into a giant garbage dump just like Earth. And if you help me become president, Elysium will sign a 200-year contract with your company. In other words, for the next 200 years, all of your company's products will be used throughout Elysium. That would make your company even more profitable than before." Hearing this, John becomes extremely excited, because there was a time when his company's products were the most widely used throughout Elysium. But now the president has been signing contracts with newer companies and using their products instead. As a result, John's company has been suffering major financial losses. However, John's company is actually based on Earth. The robots are manufactured in his various factories there. So even though John is a citizen of Elysium, he travels to Earth every day to oversee his factory. Then he returns to Elysium in the evening. The next morning, John comes back to Earth once again. Sitting in his main office, he begins the process of replacing Elysium's server systems. At the same time, he starts creating the reboot program that will transfer complete control of Elysium into Jessica's hands. After creating the new reboot program, John decodes a special system code. Then he reboots every server and replaces them with new ones. Along with that, he installs a security program into the server data. This program is designed so that if anyone ever tries to steal the data from his brain or transfer that data elsewhere, the person attempting it will die. John creates this security measure to protect the server. That way, no one will be able to steal the system data in the future. After that, John transfers all the new server information directly into his brain. Then he boards his spacecraft and heads back to Elysium. Meanwhile, we see Max and his friend Eric. They have arrived to kidnap John. As soon as they spot his spacecraft, they fire a missile at it using their weapons. As a result, the spacecraft crashes to the ground. However, while the spacecraft is going down, an emergency signal is automatically sent directly to Jessica. Jessica immediately learns that John's spacecraft has crashed, so she quickly contacts Kruger. She tells him that John, the newest member of their operation, has run into trouble during a mission, and now Kruger must go and help him. But Kruger tells her, "I'm always ready to help. However, this time I have a condition. You listened to the president and fired me from my job. You also cut off all communication with me. And after firing me, you didn't even pay me anything. So I want my job back. There are so many criminal cases attached to my name on Earth that no factory is willing to hire me. That's why I desperately need this job. Jessica then tells Kruger that very soon she will have everything under her control, and once that happens, she promises to give him his job back. Hearing that, Kruger agreed. Afterward, Jessica sends a flying vehicle for Kruger so he can reach John as quickly as possible. Kruger immediately boards the aircraft and heads toward the location where John's spacecraft crashed. Meanwhile, Max and his friend Eric also arrive at the crash site. But just then, one of John's security robots shows up. The robot immediately attacks them. Max and Eric are terrified, but at that moment, Max remembers the exoskeleton suit. His suit has incredible power, so instead of running away, he starts fighting the robots. Within moments, he smashes two of them to pieces. After that, Max finally reaches John. But when he gets there, he sees that John's condition has become very serious. He is badly injured and extremely weak. Without wasting any time, Max activates the device that Spider attached to him. Then he begins transferring all of the data from John's brain into the device. But during the process, John tells him, "You have no idea what a huge mistake you're making." However, Max ignores him completely. And at that exact moment, Kruger arrives at the scene. Meanwhile, Max successfully transfers all of the data from John's brain into the device, but he doesn't understand what the data actually contains. The information seems different from what they were expecting, because this wasn't ordinary data at all. It was the master data capable of rebooting every system and program in Elysium. Before they can even figure out what's happening, Kruger launches an attack on them. Kruger kills Max's partner. He also severely injures Max. Even so, Max somehow manages to escape with the data. Just then, Jessica calls Kruger. She tells him that Max must not be harmed any further, and under no circumstances can Max suffer any injury to his brain. She wants Max brought to her alive, no matter what, because she has learned that Max now possesses all of John's data. If anything happens to Max, Jessica will lose access to that data as well, and all of her plans will fall apart. At this point, whoever controls that data can potentially become the next president of Elysium. Meanwhile, while trying to escape from Kruger, Max goes to see his childhood friend, Frey, the same friend he promised long ago that he would one day take to Elysium. By the time Max reaches Frey, he is extremely sick and weak. Frey works as a nurse at a hospital on Earth. When she sees Max's condition, she immediately wants to take him to the hospital, but Max tells her not to do that. He explains that if she takes him there, Kruger will surely find him, and then Kruger will kill him, because he is working on behalf of Elysium. So, in order to protect Max, Frey secretly hides him inside her house. Then she begins treating his injuries. Exhausted and in terrible pain, Max eventually loses consciousness. The next morning, he wakes up. After that, Max tells Frey everything that has happened to him. He explains that he is going to die within 5 days, and in order to get treatment in Elysium, he stole the data, but in the process, he ruined all of his original plan. Even though he might have been able to reach Elysium illegally before, things are different now. Instead, he has become a target of the people of Elysium. Just then, a little girl walks into the room. The girl is Frey's daughter. She is suffering from a severe form of cancer. Frey then tells Max that if he somehow manages to reach Elysium, he should take her daughter with him. That way, her daughter might have a chance to survive as well. But Max tells her that even if he wants to, he can't take her daughter with him, because the fake ID he has for entering Elysium was created specifically to match his DNA. Only he can use that ID. There is no way her daughter can enter Elysium with it. After saying that, Max leaves. However, shortly after he is gone, Kruger arrives. He has learned that Max was hiding, so he questions Frey about Max's whereabouts. But Frey tells him that she doesn't know where Max went. Kruger becomes furious. Then he and his men abduct Frey and her daughter. Meanwhile, Max heads straight to Spider. He tells Spider that their entire plan has fallen apart. The data he extracted from John's brain is not the server data they were looking for. He never got the information they actually needed. Even so, he tells Spider that he did everything he could to make the mission successful. And now, Whether the mission succeeded or not, there is nothing more he can do. No matter what, Spider must find a way to get him to Elysium, because he doesn't have much time left. But Spider tells him that even if he wanted to help, he can't do anything right now. All of Elysium's servers and programs are jammed. Nothing is processing correctly. Not even fake IDs can be processed anymore. The entire system is locked up. As things stand, he can't send anyone to Elysium. In all his years of doing this, he has never seen anything like it. Hearing this, Max becomes extremely frustrated, and he starts worrying even more. Then Spider asks to see the data stored in Max's brain. He wants to know what Max actually brought back. After that, Spider examines the files on a monitor, and what he sees is almost impossible to believe, because the data isn't ordinary information at all. It's Elysium's reboot data, the very data that could be used to reboot every system in Elysium. Whoever controls it could take control of Elysium itself. After realizing what they have, Spider tells Max that he is carrying something incredibly valuable, something that Elysium's officials would search the entire world to recover. They wouldn't hesitate to tear the whole planet apart to find it. After hearing Spider's explanation, Max finally understands how important the program really is. Realizing this, he starts thinking about what to do next. Then he begins walking away, but Spider stops him. He tells Max that leaving right now is a terrible idea, because if anything happens to that data, then Max will never have another chance to reach Elysium. Max then tells Spider that since the data is now in his possession, he is definitely going to Elysium. After saying that, Max leaves and heads to another location. Meanwhile, Kruger discovers Max's location, so he quickly goes there. Max has brought a grenade with him. He shows the grenade to Kruger and says, "Don't even think about coming any closer. If you try anything, I'll blow myself up with this grenade. I know how important the data I carry is to all of you. So if you don't want that data destroyed, stay away from me. I don't have any time left. I need to get to Elysium and receive treatment. So get out of my way." But Kruger replies, "Listen, Max, I'm not here to kill you. I'll make all the arrangements for you to go to Elysium. Just don't do anything to damage the data." Right after that, Kruger contacts Jessica. He tells her about Max's condition and how seriously ill he is. Jessica then instructs him to bring Max to Elysium immediately. She promises that she will arrange all of his treatment. So Kruger takes Max aboard his spacecraft. However, when Max gets there, he sees that Frey and her daughter are also on board. Seeing them makes Max somewhat relieved, because now they will be able to go to Elysium with him. A short time later, the spacecraft sets off toward Elysium. As a result, Elysium's system restrictions are temporarily cleared so that Kruger can enter the city. When Spider learns that Elysium's systems have been opened again, he decides to take advantage of the opportunity. So he and his crew also head toward Elysium. Meanwhile, when Kruger's spacecraft gets very close to Elysium, Kruger's men try to take the data away from Max. As a result, a fight breaks out between them. During the struggle, the grenade that Max is carrying suddenly explodes. The explosion causes their spacecraft to crash directly into the city of Elysium. Frey somehow manages to escape the wreckage with her daughter. Then she runs straight into a nearby house. Inside that house is a med bay machine, the same advanced device that can cure virtually any disease. After that, when Frey places her daughter inside the machine, it performs a scan. The machine quickly detects that the girl does not have an Elysium ID. As a result, it announces that she is not a citizen of Elysium. Because of that, the machine refuses to treat her. Frey becomes extremely worried, but at that moment, an army officer arrives. Using an electric weapon, he shoots Frey and knocks her unconscious. Meanwhile, Max is also knocked unconscious and taken to another location. This place is actually a laboratory. The scientists there begin examining the data stored inside Max's brain. Just then, Jessica arrives. One of the scientists informs her that the data inside Max's brain is completely intact. They can extract it immediately if they want to. However, doing so could kill Max. After hearing that, Jessica says, "I don't care if he dies. If he dies, he dies. I just want my data as quickly as possible." At that same time, an army officer brings Frey and her daughter into the facility as well. Meanwhile, the scientists begin preparing to extract the data from Max's brain. But just as they are about to start the process, Max manages to activate his mechanical arm with tremendous effort. The exoskeleton immediately gives him a surge of strength. He begins attacking the scientists one by one. Then he grabs one of them and demands to know where Frey is. He asks what they have done to her. The scientist tells him that Frey is still alive and unharmed. She is being held on the 3rd floor of the laboratory. Without wasting another second, Max rushes toward that location. However, the effects of the radiation are becoming worse with every passing moment. His condition is rapidly deteriorating. He is growing weaker and sicker by the minute. That's why he is desperate to save himself and Frey's daughter as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, Frey's daughter has now fallen completely into a coma. Elsewhere, we see Spider. Spider and his crew have successfully reached Elysium, and he knows exactly where Max is, because a tracking device was attached to Max's body. So Spider gathers his men and heads straight toward Max's location. Meanwhile, we also see Kruger. The explosion aboard the spacecraft left him severely injured. He was on the verge of death. However, his brain was still functioning, so the people of Elysium place him inside a medbay machine. Within only a few seconds, the machine scans him and completely repairs all of his injuries, because he possesses a valid Elysium ID. And after the treatment, Kruger becomes even stronger than before. Just then, Jessica arrives once again. She is furious with Kruger. Jessica demands to know how their spacecraft ended up crashing into a residential area. She reminds him that everything was supposed to remain secret, so she asks how he could have made such a huge mistake. Jessica continues, saying, "People like you are the reason Earth turned into a garbage dump. I gave you far more importance than you deserve. That's why you've become so arrogant. People from the lower class always remain the same." Hearing Jessica's words, Kruger becomes enraged. In a fit of anger, he smashes a glass nearby. Then he grabs a sharp piece of it and drives it into Jessica's throat. After that, he drags her across the floor and throws her into the area where Frey and her daughter are being held captive. Kruger then orders his men to take control of the entire facility. He declares that Elysium is about to get a new president, and from now on, everything in Elysium will be under his control. Because Kruger knows very well that the data stored inside Max's brain has the power to change everything. With that data, he believes he can take complete control of Elysium, so he sets out to find Max. Meanwhile, Max contacts Spider. He says, "Didn't you tell me that the data inside my brain could be used to bring anyone into Elysium? And everyone needs an ID to enter Elysium. Can you create new IDs using this data?" Spider replies that he can absolutely do that. Then he tells Max to meet him as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Max manages to reach the location where Frey and her daughter are being held. He rescues both of them and escapes. After getting a safe distance away, Max tells Frey, "Find a house as quickly as possible and use a medbay machine to heal your daughter." Frey tells him that she already tried that when she first arrived in Elysium. But because her daughter is not an Elysium citizen, the machine refused to treat her. Max then says, "It will work now. I've already taken care of everything." After that, Frey leaves with her daughter. At that exact moment, Spider arrives with his crew. Spider then takes Max and heads straight toward Elysium's control center, because that is the place where they can reboot all of Elysium's system. As soon as they reach the control room, Kruger arrives. Kruger is wearing a highly advanced combat suit. The suit has made him much more powerful than before. He immediately starts fighting Max. His goal is to take the data away from him. However, Max is also wearing a powerful exoskeleton suit. Because of that, he has tremendous strength as well. As a result, Max quickly gains the upper hand. Within moments, he defeats Kruger and throws him from a great height. The fall kills Kruger instantly. After that, Max and Spider enter the control room. As Spider begins connecting the data from Max's brain to the system, he discovers something important. He realizes that activating the data will kill Max. Because of that, Spider hesitates and refuses to proceed, but Max already knew this. He had known all along that activating the data would cost him his life. Before moving forward, Max calls Frey one last time. Then he says, "Do you remember, Frey? When we were kids, I promised that one day I would bring you to Elysium. And today, somehow, I finally managed to keep that promise. I brought you here. I kept my word. I want you all to live happy lives. I want all the people of Earth to be happy. I want them to be freed from their life of suffering, and that's exactly what I'm about to do." After saying that, Max ends the call. Without wasting another second, he presses the button himself and activates the data. As a result, an enormous amount of pressure builds inside Max's brain. A short time later, he dies. At the same time, Elysium's new system program begins running. A new function is activated as well. Through this new system, every person living on Earth is automatically granted Elysium citizenship. In other words, everyone now receives an official Elysium ID. From this moment on, they can travel to Elysium whenever they want, and they can receive treatment for any illness they may have. Just then, President Patel arrives. He is accompanied by several robot officers. These robots serve as Elysium's police force. The president immediately orders them to arrest Spider. However, the robots respond with something unexpected. They inform him that Spider is now officially a citizen of Elysium, and they do not arrest Elysium citizens. Hearing this, Patel is completely stunned. Here is the English dubbing. Meanwhile, we see Frey. She takes her daughter to a medbay machine. Then she carefully lays her daughter on the device so she can receive treatment. This time, when the machine scans her, everything is different. Within just a few seconds, the machine completes the treatment because she is now officially a citizen of Elysium. As a result, Frey's daughter is completely cured. Frey is overwhelmed with happiness, and in her heart, she silently thanks Max for what he has done. Meanwhile, another function is activated within the new program. A message appears stating that all newly registered citizens of Elysium require access to medical facilities. As a result, Elysium's medical assistance systems are automatically activated. The city's automated intelligence immediately begins carrying out its duties. Huge Elysium spacecraft are dispatched to Earth. These spacecraft are equipped with every type of facility imaginable. From food supplies to advanced medical care, they carry everything necessary. The ships automatically travel to different parts of Earth to provide treatment and meet people's basic needs. Under the new system, whenever someone on Earth needs help, Elysium's program will automatically send assistance. The spacecraft will be deployed wherever they are needed. Seeing these spacecraft arrive, people all across Earth are filled with joy. The robots aboard the ships begin helping everyone. They provide medical treatment to the sick, and they give food to those who are hungry. From this point forward, people can finally live their lives in peace. They can receive treatment for any illness, and they no longer have to suffer the way they once did. In the end, Max gives his life so that every person on Earth can have a better future. By sacrificing himself, he gives humanity a second chance at life.